Today we have an oxymoron, because we all know that Christians aren't supposed to be funny or enjoy life because we're taking everything way too seriously. But I caught up with Paul Kerensa, a Christian comedian who's written for some of the biggest shows on TV in the last few years, such as Miranda and Not Going Out. Check it out right here, right now. You're in focus.
Oh.
So,
yes.
Paul Kerensa.
Hello.
Comedian, Christian.
Yes.
Comedian,
Yes.
which is, I always find quite challenging when you hear about Christian comedian and how far you can go, what you can do. You write for national TV, you're on the national radio. How far do you live it out? How far can you live out your faith?
You can do what you want, really, I suppose, can't you? It's just then what consequences you expect or whatever. But no, yeah, I think what I'm trying to do more of is to be as genuine as possible, I suppose. And that's genuine as a Christian, because it's part of me, but it's genuine as a comedian. So, equally it works the other way. Sometimes you can go to a church event and think, should I not be humor? Should we try and avoid humour here because this feels rather somber? No, just be genuine, be yourself. But as long as that feels authentic and feels right, and feels like being, I was about to say force for good. That sounds a little bit superhero-ish, but just try and be. It's nice to be nice. It's nice to have fun. It's nice to enjoy yourself. It's nice to communally, have good and happy vibes going on generally, and try. We need it in this world. I mean, it's a tough old world out there, isn't it? So if you can just try and lift things a bit, great.
So how do you live out your calling then? You have, like we all do. We all have roles that we can do so much in our Christian faith, but outside of who you are and who Paul Kerensa is, .com and and the writer, how do you find your faith and live it out in a with a name, I suppose?
Well, it's sort of it's weird. It's not one of those. It's not a big name. It's a name. We've all got names.
Yep, we all got names.
It's a mid-sized sort of name. First one syllable, first name, two syllable, three syllable. So no, just grown. Well, I think Kerensa. Yeah. But flippancy aside, I think I always used to have that thing of being. How I'm going to live out my faith? I'm going to be a beacon. I'm going to be a good, shining beacon of goodness who never talks about my faith. That's what I'm going to be. I think I'm called to not talk about God. That's what that was my general attitude. It's like, I went to church on a Sunday, and I just thought, let's be nice. Let's do that. And sometimes that is sufficient. Sometimes that is nice, and sometimes places need that. But I think increasingly, I found myself being, I go where the wind blows. I go where that wind blows. And that's led to things like the Pause for Thought Radio 2 breakfast show stuff, which I didn't ask to do that. I went in because it was Comic Relief Week, and they said we want comedians with a faith just to do a little 2 minutes on religion or something, a little thought for the day kind of thing. And I did it as a one-off, and then they said we'd come back again, and I've kept going back for 5 years, but you're amongst rabbis, bishops and imams whose professional life is about preaching. My professional life is about doing jokes and writing scripts and things like that. So suddenly, every time I do that, I'm going, right, I'm now talking about my Christian faith to many millions of people, and it's a big audience. It's the biggest breakfast show in the country. I'm not saying that in a showy off kind of way, but in a way of going, how do I talk about this to a listenership who is 95% potentially not on board with what I'm saying? And it's tricky. But what I do is I try and, rather than go, you must believe this, firstly, proselytizing is out. What I instead approach it is going, actually, how do I try and speak to the person who has made their mind up, or so they think, about Christianity, goes, it's not for me, don't like it. But if I can find something in it that is a good thing, and you go, well, yeah, okay, you've made your mind up, there's this thing, there's a positive message of hope or forgiveness or repentance or love or whatever it might be. There are those messages. We can all go, okay, there's the Muslim poet Rumi, who Pause for Thought Muslim Pause for Thought often do. And Rumi sounds great. I've never read any Rumi, but he's full of wisdom. I go, I'm not a Muslim, but I buy it totally into what he's saying about that way of living. On certain ways. So I think similarly as a Christian, you just got to go, there is some wisdom in this religion, and it has a bad time in the media and the press. And I've just been talking non-stop for 5 minutes. It's not just a minute, is it? Why am I suddenly going like I can't breathe and pause for breath? I'm going to stop now. You can say some things.
Yes, let's just think of questions.
Sorry, yes.
But now, how do you? But there's is there more an expectation on you because you are in the kind of spotlight, as it were, to live out your faith when actually you see most people not?
Maybe, I don't know. But equally, I mean, I'm terrible at this. I do a nice little pause for thought, and I've done a few which are, along the lines of, we've got to stop, pause for thought is great. I did one recently saying pause for thought, brilliant. But what about actually pausing not for thought, but like for action, for doing something? Pause indeed, indeed. And then, it was all, and it was about the fact that, we see the homeless guy, and do we pass by on the other side? We're all, in the Good Samaritan story, none of us generally, we're not the Samaritan. We're the other guys. We're the religious people who think, oh yeah, I'm holier than thou. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
And I've done that pause for thought, and got a good, like Chris going, wow, that's a lovely, really good, well done, really heartfelt stuff. Thanks, Chris. Cheers. Walked out with my coffee into the street and walked past 6 homeless people, and then get to the tube station going, what have I just done?
Yeah.
Physician, heal thyself. You've got to do it.
It's
tricky.
No, it is. Okay, we're at CRE. I'm here
we are.
vlogging, and we see some amazing things and all these stands, and once you get past the chairs and the lighting. What are you doing at CRE? Why is CRE important to you?
Well, I'm on a more sort of literally, why am I here? I'm plugging some books, this is out this week. It's called What Are They Doing Down There? And there's another book I had out last year, Biography of Christmas, the History of Christmas. There's some children's books. Basically, I'm walking down here and I'm seeing bookstand after bookstand going, there's one of mine on offer. What's that all about? There's another one over there. Bargain bin? I don't think so. So I, as a writer and as a performer, I've been here for about 10 years on and off now, and find it's just a really great way of getting some free pens. Who doesn't love a free pen? And B, just being in a giant conference centre room full of people who are from different churches, different backgrounds, just coming together, finding what's out there really. And the publishers who I've been working with have gone, this is a good place to be talking about the books we're doing, or whatever it might be. There's loads and loads of great things that I would never have thought of.
It takes a lot to run a church. That's the thing, 'cause you do not realise there's
there's everything. There's charities like Mercy Ships charity, brilliant charity that goes around and docks on coastlines, and then people who can't get access to healthcare gets the help from that ship. The same, but next door to them, you've got people selling signs for outside churches, or church organs or seats, whatever, microphones, books galore, retreat centres, holidays, everything. There's loads and loads of stuff going on, and I love it. Love a freebie. Someone's giving out flapjacks over there. Love a flapjack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to go get a flapjack.
Yeah, do it.
Thank you very much. You don't realise there's only a few hundred people, but
thank you. Hello.
And the link's actually below for the books.
Do I get to do the thing? I was watching Strictly on the weekend, and then whenever they vote, call this number. This is where you have to. Can we do the pointy thing?
I do.
A thing magically appears.
You can go. Put your comments below.
Okay.
Say what you want to think. Links below. For the books.
And he's up there. So,
and he's up there.
He's up there, and links to there.
Thank you very much.